The Woma python is a unique and fascinating snake that comes from Australia. Even though it is not native to the United States, it has become well known among American reptile lovers, zoo visitors, students, and people who are simply curious about wildlife. Compared to very famous snakes like the ball python or the rattlesnake, the Woma python is less common, which makes it even more interesting. This guide is written in easy-to-understand language for people in the USA. You do not need to be a scientist or reptile expert to enjoy it. The goal is to clearly explain what a Woma python is, where it lives, how it behaves, what it eats, and why it matters. We will also talk about Woma pythons as pets in the United States, including basic care, safety, and legal considerations. By the end of this article, you will have a complete and friendly understanding of the Woma python and why it is such a special snake. What is a Woma python? The Woma python is a type of non-venomous constrictor snake. Its scientific name is Aspidites ramsai. This means it kills its prey by wrapping its body around the animal and squeezing, not by using venom. Woma pythons belong to the python family, but they are different from many other pythons that Americans may already know. One of the biggest differences is that Woma pythons do not have heat-sensing pits on their lips. Most pythons use these pits to detect warm-blooded animals, but the Woma python survives without them. This makes the Woma python very interesting to scientists and snake enthusiasts in the USA. Where do Woma pythons come from? Native country, Australia. Woma pythons come from Australia, not the United States. They are found mainly in Central Australia, Western Australia, and parts of Northern Australia. They do not live in rainforests or near oceans. Instead, they prefer dry and open environments. Natural habitat. Woma pythons live in places such as deserts, dry grasslands, scrublands, and open woodlands. These environments are often hot during the day and cool at night. To survive these conditions, Woma pythons spend a lot of time hiding underground in animal burrows or under rocks. Comparison for Americans. For people in the USA, the Woma python's natural habitat is similar to parts of Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, and West Texas. These areas also have dry climates and big temperature changes between day and night. What does a Woma python look like? Size. Woma pythons are medium-sized snakes. Most adults grow to be about 4.5 to 6.5 feet long. Some may grow a little longer in captivity, but they are not considered giant snakes. This size makes them larger than ball pythons, but much smaller than Burmese pythons, which are restricted in many U.S. states. Color and pattern. Woma pythons usually have a tan, yellow-brown, or reddish-brown base color, dark brown or black bands across their body. As they get older, the bands may fade and become less clear. Young Woma pythons often have brighter and more visible patterns. Their belly is usually cream or light yellow. Head and eyes. The head of a Woma python is narrow and smooth. The eyes are small and adapted for low light conditions, since these snakes are mostly active at night. Unlike many other pythons, Woma pythons do not have heat pits, which is an important feature for identification. How do Woma pythons behave? Activity time. Woma pythons are mostly nocturnal, which means they are active at night. During the day, they usually hide underground or in shaded areas to avoid heat. Personality and temperament. In the wild, Woma pythons are shy and avoid humans. They are not aggressive unless they feel threatened. In captivity, especially in the United States, Woma pythons are often described as alert, curious, and confident. They are more active than ball pythons and may explore their enclosure more often. Defense behavior. If scared, a Woma python may hiss loudly, curl its body, or try to escape. Biting is rare and usually happens only when the snake feels trapped or confused. What do Woma pythons eat? Diet in the wild. In nature, Woma pythons eat small mammals like rodents, birds that live on the ground, lizards, and other snakes. They are known for eating other snakes, which is unusual and interesting. How they hunt. Because they do not have heat pits, Woma pythons hunt using smell, movement, and touch. They actively search for prey instead of waiting in one place. Diet in captivity, USA. In the United States, pet Woma pythons are usually fed frozen thawed mice or rats. Young snakes eat every 7 to 10 days. Adults eat every 2 to 3 weeks. How do Woma pythons reproduce? Breeding season. In the wild, breeding usually happens during cooler months. U.S. breeders often copy these seasonal changes using temperature control. Eggs. Female Woma pythons lay 5 to 20 eggs. After laying the eggs, the female wraps around them to protect and warm them. Hatching. The eggs hatch after about 2 months. Baby Woma pythons are independent right away and do not receive care from their parents. How long do Woma pythons live? With proper care, Woma pythons can live 20 to 30 years in captivity. Some may live even longer. This is a long-term commitment for anyone in the USA thinking about owning one as a pet. Woma pythons as pets in the United States. Are they popular? Woma pythons are less common than ball pythons, but they are respected and valued by experienced reptile keepers in the USA. Enclosure needs. An adult Woma python usually needs a secure enclosure about 4 feet long, a warm side and a cool side, and at least 2 hiding spots. Temperature. Warm area, 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Cool area, 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity. Woma pythons prefer low to moderate humidity, which works well in many American homes. Health and care. Common health problems. Respiratory infections, usually from too much moisture, parasites, and obesity from overfeeding. Veterinary care in the USA. Many cities in the United States have veterinarians who specialize in reptiles. Regular checkups are helpful. Is it legal to own a Woma python in the USA? In many U.S. states, owning a Woma python is legal. However, laws can change and may differ by state, county, or city. Always check local wildlife and exotic pet laws before buying one. Conservation and why Woma pythons matter. Threats in the wild. In Australia, Woma pythons face threats such as habitat loss, cars and roads, and invasive predators like feral cats. Why Americans should care. Even though Woma pythons do not live in the USA naturally, Americans can help by supporting conservation programs, choosing captive-bred snakes, and learning and teaching others about reptiles. Woma python versus other snakes Americans know. Compared to ball pythons, Womas are more active. Ball pythons are more calm. Both are non-venomous. Compared to corn snakes, Womas are thicker and stronger. Corn snakes are easier for beginners. Fun facts about Woma pythons. They do not have heat pits like most pythons. They sometimes eat other snakes. They can live for decades, and they are excellent burrowers. Final thoughts. The Woma python is a truly special snake. For people in the USA, it represents a chance to learn about wildlife from another part of the world while also understanding responsibility, conservation, and respect for animals. By learning about Woma pythons, we take one small step towards appreciating and protecting the incredible diversity of life on our planet.
The Woma python, Aspidides ramsey, also commonly known as Ramsey's python, the sand python, and simply the Woma, is a species of snake in the family Pythoniidae, endemic to Australia. Once common throughout Western Australia, it has become critically endangered in some regions. William John Maclay originally described the species in 1882 as Aspidides ramsey. The specific name, Ramsey, is in honor of Australian zoologist Edward Pearson Ramsey. This is one of 2 species of Aspidides, the pitless pythons, an Australian genus of the family Pythoniidae. The generic name Aspidides translates to shield bearer in reference to the symmetrically shaped head scales. Adults of A. ramsey typically are around 1.5 meters, 4.5 feet in total length, including tail. The head is narrow and the eyes are small. The body is broad and flattish in profile while the tail tapers to a thin point. The dorsal scales are small and smooth, with 50 to 65 rows at mid-body. The ventral scales are 280 to 315 in number, with an undivided anal plate and 40 to 45 mostly single subcaudal scales. Some of the posterior subcaudals may be irregularly divided. The dorsal color may be pale brown to nearly black. The pattern consists of a ground color that varies from medium brown and olive to lighter shades of orange, pink, and red, overlaid with darker striped or brindled markings. The belly is cream or light yellow with brown and pink blotches. The scales around the eyes are usually a darker color than the rest of the head. Aspidides ramsey may reach a total length of 2.3 meters, 7.5 feet, with a snout vent length, SVL, of 2.0 meters, 6.6 feet. Snakes of the genus Aspidides lack the heat-sensing pits of all other pythons. A. ramsey is similar in appearance to A. melanocephalus, but without an obvious neck. The coloration or desire to locate this species may lead to confusion with the venomous species Pseudonaga nucellus, commonly known as the guardar. Distribution and habitat. Aspidides ramsey lives in the west and center of Australia, from Western Australia through southern Northern Territory and northern South Australia to southern Queensland and northwestern New South Wales. Its range may be discontinuous. The type locality is near Fort Burke, New South Wales, Australia. The range in southwest Australia extends from Shark Bay along the coast and inland regions and was previously common on sand plains. The species was recorded in regions to the south and east with once extensive wheatbelt and goldfield populations. Aspidides ramsey is classified as least concern on the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species. The Adelaide Zoo in South Australia is coordinating a captive breeding program for the species, and the offspring raised have been released into the Arid Recovery Reserve in the state's north, with no success due to mulga snake, Pseudechis australis, predation. Many populations in the southwest of the country since the 1960s became critically endangered by altered land use. The sharp decline in numbers without an authenticated record since 1989 was most notable in the wheatbelt areas. Aspidides ramsey is largely nocturnal. By day, this snake shelters in hollow logs or under leaf debris. When traveling across hot sands or other surfaces, it lifts its body off the ground and reaches far forward before pushing off the ground again, having only a few inches of its body touching the ground at a time. Aspidides ramsey preys upon a variety of terrestrial vertebrates, such as small mammals, ground birds, and lizards. It catches much of its prey in burrows where there is not enough room to maneuver coils around the prey. Instead, the Woma pushes a loop of its body against the animal to pin it against the side of the burrow. Many adult Womas are covered in scars from retaliating rodents, as this technique does not kill prey as quickly as normal constriction. Although this species will take warm-blooded prey when offered, A. ramsey preys mainly on reptiles. Perhaps due to this, species within the genus Aspidides lack the characteristic heat-sensing pits of pythons, although they possess an equivalent sensory structure in the rostral scale. Aspidides ramsey is oviparous, with 5 to 20 eggs per clutch. Females remain coiled around their eggs until they hatch, with the incubation period lasting 2 to 3 months. An adult female about 5 years old and 5 feet, about 1.5 meters in total length, usually lays about 11 eggs. Considered to be more active than many pythons as well as being a very docile and easy-to-handle snake, the Woma is highly sought after in the reptile and exotic pet trade. It is one of the hardiest python species in captivity, often enthusiastically accepting prey and other items. One made headlines in May 2015 for requiring surgery to remove the feeding tongs it had swallowed as well as its meal. This snake will breed in captivity. Mutachulu Waterhole at Uluru marks the site of the battle between two Central Australian ancestral beings, Kunya, Woma python woman, and Liru, King Brown Snake Man. Here, Kunya avenged the death of her nephew, who was fatally speared by Liru by striking him with her digging stick.